Hi, folks. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner. Well, let's check out Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump, the president's Twitter account. This is the one thing, no matter how mad the progressives and leftists get, that'll always be true. He's the 45th president of the United States. I hope that sticks in their craw. Here he is at the Villages in Florida at a campaign rally. What a big crowd. Huge amounts of people. Here's an ad for Donald Trump. Actually, I looked through the ad. I can't play it because I don't want to get any copyright problems, but it is true. They showed many videos with Joe Biden when he was much younger, talking about the number of times he tried to freeze and cut Social Security. Oh, that's a tough one. And he's been doing it for a long time. But we'll see who believes what. I mean, the film is the film, but another thing today, another peace agreement in the Middle East, this time between Israel and Sudan. I'm telling you, they used to joke around when he first ran. Oh, what are you going to do? Bring peace to the Middle East? And everybody laughed. Well, there's 5 more countries, according to the president and his people, that want to join in this deal. It's a trade deal. And we know the people that trade with each other usually don't war with each other. Pretty much standard rule. On the 37th anniversary of the horrendous attack on our United States Marine sailors, soldiers in Beirut, we honor the 241 heroes who lost their lives that day. We will never forget them. Yeah, I remember that. $6,500 will be taken away from families under Biden's health plan. That's actually accurate. It's if that's what people want, if that's what people decide to do. Joe Biden's response to the H1N1 swine flu, far less lethal than COVID-19, was one of the weakest and worst in the history of fighting epidemics and pandemics. It was pathetic. Those involved have said Joe didn't have a clue. There was a couple of health officials after Obama's term was up that said, you know what, frankly, we just lucked out. If it was as nearly as contagious as COVID-19, over 1 million plus would have died. It's really new book out. Mark Siegel, I really like him. He's on Fox a lot as an MD. He seems like a really good guy, cares about his patients, cares about the truth. COVID, the politics of fear and the power of science. Yeah, that's about what this is all about. It wasn't a presidential year, believe me. It would have been handled a lot differently by the press, but that's just the way it is. Biden said he's going to transition out of fracking by 2025. I hope Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Oklahoma, North Dakota, and all the rest were listening last night. High energy prices, massive job losses, vote Trump. Here's the thing. If every single country in the world did exactly the same thing, I wouldn't like it, but I could probably live with it to some extent. But it's the United States getting screwed again. China's off the hook. The number one polluter is off the hook. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Anyway, and he goes on to say, and this is true, Joe Biden threw Obama under the bus. Joe Biden was very disrespectful of President Obama at last night's debate when he said that he, Joe, was vice president, not president, when trying to make excuses for their failed immigration policies. I wonder what the O was thinking when he heard that one. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Because it's really interesting. It's interesting because I remember President Obama did not endorse Joe Biden until well after the primary process was settled. They can say, well, he didn't pick sides, but even after it was clearly going to be Joe Biden, he didn't pick a side for a long time. I think at the last minute he was kind of forced into it. And if I'm not mistaken, 2 days ago was the first time he actually campaigned for Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. So his heart's not really in it. He's just got to do it. Yesterday, real Donald Trump granted Duke Tanner clemency after 16 years in prison. Here he is here. He was released. Let's hear. We'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get a copyright strike in case somebody owns that video. Duke was sentenced to life in prison for a first-time nonviolent crime because of Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill. I remember, of course, I'm 63, so I remember it distinctly. And the fact of the matter is, The weird and kind of ironic part to all this is the ones that were pushing for it the most, these really, really draconian sentences for first-time nonviolent offenders, were the governors, mayors, and city councils. And the city councils and the mayors mostly were pushing it, and they were 60, 70, 80% black and 100% Democrat. And here we are years later, and they wanted these draconian measures done, and now they're saying, well, they're really unfair. I mean, it gets so absurd. It gets so absurd. They create their own problems, and they get credit for solving them. It's really twisted, really twisted. We pray that you would do much good with your second chance, Duke. Ivanka Trump tweeted out, God bless. Today is the last day to register to vote in person in the great state of Nebraska. Get ready. Everything you need to cast your vote and make America great again below. And even put the information to register. Another about the Sudan has agreed to a peace and normalization agreement with Israel. It's huge. I don't think people are getting to understand how big these Middle East deals are. They're a little tied up in petty BS, but this is huge. Sudan has agreed to a peace and normalization agreement with Israel, with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain. That's 3 Arab countries to have done so in only a matter of weeks. More will follow. I understand another 5 are interested. Because of Melissa Tate, I like Melissa. She's funny. She's also very smart, too. He mentioned about getting rid of oil and fracking. Joe Biden just lost Texas, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Ohio, Alaska, tying to AOC plus his plan on energy. I agree. This was the first time millions of Americans learned the kids in cages was Obama, not Trump, because the media had been lying to the American people. And there are the so-called cages. I don't think they're really cages, but that's what they call them. And there they are walking around. Obama's Department of Homeland Security Secretary. What a beauty. There's the picture. It's just, these guys are so twisted. I know politics is dirty, but then there's this. Anyway, we got 11 days to go, according to the president. Shows him there when he was younger, of course. Even Megyn Kelly, who's had her problems with the president in the past, believe me, remember with the bleeding out of the whatever comments when she was with Fox? She even said Trump won this debate handily. Biden wasn't a force at all. Trump was substantive, on point, well-tempered. Definitely helped himself when it mattered most. Hey, now that she's, she told the truth with Fox as well. They let their people speak their minds, but good for her. I'm glad she's coming around. And there's a picture from when he was younger. Yeah, it's like me. You look in the mirror and your hair's not so dark anymore. And you get a couple more pounds. And about the debate. The Blaze had a 96% Trump. Of course, the Blaze won, but who won tonight's debate? Okay, I'll do it. Who won? Yeah, that's funny. And we'll go on and go through. The Daily Wire. Granted, there's a lot of conservatives on there, but 95.4 is pretty surprising. Measured, precise, and convincing. Trish Regan. I like her a lot. Always have. Always have. Here's funny, Kevin McCarthy. Donald Trump has the ball and Joe Biden can't run out the clock, and it shows him looking at his watch. That's pretty funny. Political polls, polling numbers. Who's winning the debate tonight? 68-32. That's probably accurate. Another poll. Tammy Bruce, I like her a lot. She's great. Praising the president. We'll have to see. Kellyanne Conway. Dan Bongino, I like. He's a tough guy. He's a good guy, though. Andy McCarthy, the NRA. Oh, gosh. Look, yeah, he's right. Biden will lock down the country, raise taxes, and destroy the U.S. energy. Eric Trump, Fox poll. You know it's going to be slanted conservative. There's no question. 74-24. Unbelievable. And then they show a tape, of course, that Joe Biden says he didn't say they would get rid of it, and he certainly did. And now here's another one. It would stop fracking. Yes, exactly. No new fracking. You got to transition away from it. I would love to. You lied. There's a difference between stressing the truth, not telling the whole truth, and outright lying. Mark Levin, I like him a lot. Boy, is he a sharp guy. Boy, he gets PO'd sometimes. President Trump was right. Couldn't be prouder. Making faces and being dishonest. Rush Limbaugh, I feel bad for his cancer predicament, but here's some Senator Rand Paul. No, Rand Paul's a pretty straight shooter. He's a real straight shooter. I agree, we're going to end fossil fuels, no more new fracking. Well, I better stop that video so I don't get a copyright strike. CNN likes to go after conservative channels, even though I'm a small one. Elsie Stefanik. Now, I live in upstate New York Congressional District, the 22nd District. I formerly had Claudia Tenney. Now it's Anthony Brindisi, and she's coming up trying to get her seat back. Right north of here in the Adirondack Mountains is Elsie Stefanik. I'll tell you, I like her a lot. I remember a few weeks ago, boy, she was really ripping some people in a subcommittee meeting. And I'll tell you, I called her office and said, I wish I had her for my congressional representative. If I can't have Claudia, I'll take Elsie in a second. She is really good, really good. Boy, she's sharp. Scott Adams, Dan Crenshaw. Oh, gosh, I pray to God. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Republican now. I'm saying that because you have to. He has to win, not because he's any great prize. He has to stop. He has to stop the progressives and leftists. They will destroy this place. And will there be any room for fracking in the Biden? No. We would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee you they're going to end fossil fuel and no more new fracking. I'll gradually move away from fracking, and I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands. That's going to cause shortages. That's going to prices to go up. It's going to be a disaster. It'll put a monkey wrench when we start coming out of COVID in the economy. And it's amazing to me. Just signed the executive order to protect the workers of Delphi Corporation and make sure that we protect the pension of all American workers. Obama, Biden failed American workers and failed the workers of Delphi. I always put American workers first. Yeah. And it's really something. It really is. How cool is that to be just to walk out of the Oval and through the Rose Garden of the helicopter? I mean, it's got to be the most awesome feeling. I don't care if you're a billionaire. That must never, never get old. I hope finally suburban women are flocking over. I pray that's true. He's trying to save the suburbs. This HUD regulation stuff about putting in multi-unit housing and forcing it in the suburbs. And if they don't want it, they get cut off from federal funds. It's bad. It's bad. And as you can see, some of the other things the president posted. Stop the video there if you like to read them. It's going to be interesting. I pray. I'm not saying because I have this idea. I'm possessed with getting Donald Trump elected, and one of those cult things is not at all. I just see it for what it is. I see the fact that if the progressives and the leftists get a hold of a good portion of our government, we are screwed. and our country is screwed for the next 50 years at least. Radcliffe, he's the head of the DNI, that's the intelligence agency. Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, said, Iran and Russia have obtained voter info. Iran is trying to damage President Trump. Yeah. They're the ones that put out a bunch of emails who say Democrats don't vote or people don't vote and put the Proud Boys name on it. Come to find out it was Iranians. Oh, God, you're right. He's running not just against Biden, against the corrupt media, the tech giants, the Washington swamp. That's why he's getting so much grief. He's the bull in the china shop, man. He doesn't care what gets smashed. Amazing. Look at that crowd. And there's probably 3 to 5 times outside the venue. Anyway, folks, that's some from the president's Twitter today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for your time. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.